As we await the final report from the Auditor General of South Africa for the year 2023-2024 financial year, we are confident that we will once again showcase our dedication to fiscal responsibility and integrity. Of course, since taking office, the GLU has prioritized the strengthening of internal controls across all departments. We have implemented a new internal audit framework which has already begun to yield positive results. For the 2023-2024 financial year, we have reduced instances of irregular expenditure by 15% compared to the previous year. This improvement is a direct result of our commitment to ensure that public funds are spent efficiently and transparently. We understand that effective governance is built on the active participation of our citizens. Over the past 18 months, we have expanded our public participation initiatives, hosting over 200 community meetings and consultations across Johannesburg in all the 135 wards. This approach has allowed us to better understand the needs and concerns of our residents and to incorporate their input into our policy-making processes. As a result, our policies are more responsive and reflective of the diversity of communities we serve in Johannesburg. We have of course declared that there is no place for corruption in our administration. That is why we have taken a zero-tolerance approach to corruption, and this has been reinforced through the establishment of a dedicated anti-corruption unit. Over the past year, this unit has investigated 120 cases of corruption within the municipality, leading to the dismissal of 35 officials and the recovery of 50 million in misappropriated funds. These actions sent a clear message that we are serious about rooting out corruption and restoring trust in our local government. Our financial stewardship under the MMC of Finance, Comrade Dada Morero, has been the cornerstone of our administration. We have met our target for repairs and maintenance, spending around 6.9% of our budget as planned. This ensures that our infrastructure remains resilient and that our city is better equipped to meet the needs of our growing population. Moreover, our revenue collection efforts have of course given effect to fruits which have shown us some level of improvement in terms of the collection of 87% of what was owed to the city of Johannesburg. This year we have set our sight on 88.4%, and we are pleased to announce that we have surpassed this target, achieving a collection rate of 89.5% by quarter 4. This improvement is a direct result of our focused efforts to enhance financial efficiency and to ensure that Johannesburg remains on a strong fiscal footing. Last year, we provided basic water services to 400 households in informal settlement. This year, we set out to reach an additional 250 households. We can report that we did not only meet or exceeded this, but exceeded this goal, which of course we provided clean water to additional 600 households by quarter 4 of the previous financial year. This achievement has brought dignity and hope to thousands of our fellow citizens. In our efforts to improve waste management, we launched an extensive cleanup campaign across the city, targeting illegal dumping hotspots. By quarter 4, we had removed over 12,000 tons of waste from these sites, making our neighborhood cleaner and safer for all. Furthermore, we have significantly enhanced our road maintenance and rehabilitation programs. Last year, we repaired and resurfaced 250 kilometers of road. This year we aimed to rehabilitate an additional 300 kilometers, and we are proud to announce that we have exceeded this target, completing 320 kilometers by Q4. This improvement are vital for ensuring safety and efficiency of our transportation network. We have also made strides in electrification. Last year we connected around 2,800 dwellings to the main electricity supply. This year we set a goal of 3,200 connections, and by the end of Q4 we had surpassed this with 3,495 new connections. These achievements underscores our commitment to ensure that every resident of Johannesburg has access to essential services. In addition to these accomplishments, we rolled out the Johannesburg Broadband Network project, which has brought affordable high-speed internet to 20,000 households in underserved areas. This initiative is bridging the digital divide and creating new opportunities for education, business, community engagement, and of course the job seekers are able to utilize such to apply or to look for employment. Economic growth and job creation have been central to our agenda since day one. Last year we created 13,500 work opportunities through the expanded public works program. This year we set a target of 14,750, and we can proudly report that by Q4 we had created 18,958 work opportunities. This remarkable achievement is a testament to our determination to reduce unemployment and provide meaningful opportunities. We understand that effective governance is built on the active, participation of citizens, and that is why we have ensured that all these opportunities are opportunities that are directed, to the citizens of Johannesburg. We have also provided support for small, medium, and micro enterprises, who have been prioritized over the last year, as we have managed to support at least 13,200 of these SMMEs, and this year we aimed to assist around 14,645. We are pleased, of course, to indicate that that target was highly exceeded, because around 26,666 SMMEs were supported in the last financial year. Of course, this extraordinary accomplishment is a highlight of our commitment of fostering entrepreneurship and ensuring that small businesses thrive in our city. On public safety is a critical concern for all of us. Of course, last year we have conducted around 8,500 traffic enforcement operations. Recognizing the need to do more, we set up a target of 8,995 operations for 2023-2024, and by Q4 we have conducted around 9,973 operations, which surpassing our target and making our roads safer for all. Of course, since the government of local unity took office, we have made meaningful progress in many areas. In line with the GLU priorities that we have communicated, the priorities to strengthen governance, the priority to improve financial sustainability, create jobs, attract investment, enhance public safety, implement energy mix strategies. However, we are not engaged in self-congratulation, but are instead haunted on a daily basis by much more that remains to be done, particularly in infrastructure maintenance and the delivery of basic services. It is precisely for this reason that we are reconstituting the government of local unity to bring a new executive mayor with the experience and the technical know-how to build on our successes and address our challenges, and to work tirelessly to make Johannesburg a city that offers opportunities, growth, and prosperity for all residents. It is in this regard that the Regional Executive Committee of the ANC in Johannesburg, guided by the national officials as well as the provincial leadership, has resolved to forward our regional chairperson and the current MMC of Finance, Comrade Dada Morero, as our candidate for the position of the executive mayor. Comrade Dada Morero is of course not new to serve in this position. You will remember that in the year 2022 we have resolved as such, and the executive mayor was elected in 2022 September, and unfortunately due to court challenge, the court challenge reversed the election of the mayor. And that of course it made, when we came into this process, it made our life easier because we have already, dwelt with this process previously. And of course, Comrade Dada Morero, just to clarify so that it must not be seen as if there was no compliance with the ANC processes of dealing with the selection of the mayor. You will know that we are still within the administration which of the elections that took place in 2021 November. And in that particular process, we had a process of 3 names that which the late Comrade Mpomerane, who is also our former regional chairperson, who was then number 1 candidate out of the 3 candidates for our candidate as an executive mayor for the city of Johannesburg. And unfortunately we could not be able to elect him successfully as the executive mayor given the conditions in which we have faced at that particular time. And Comrade Dada Morero was part of the 3 names together with Comrade Eunice Mgena, and Comrade Dada Morero was number 2 on that particular list. And given the fact that Comrade Muyerani passed on, then when the opportunity presented itself in 2022, then we went to number 2 out of the 3 names that were submitted, and that number 2 is Comrade Dada Morero, who is currently our regional chairperson. So that is why we then went back to the same decision that we have taken at that point and say, let's continue with that particular decision. Finally, the ANC in Greater Johannesburg welcomes the International Criminal Court of Justice's definitive findings that Israel occupation and segregation in Palestine constitute apartheid. We urgently call for an immediate ceasefire and reaffirm our unwavering solidarity with the Palestinian people in their courageous struggle for self-determination and freedom. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Regional Secretary. We've came to the end of the presentation of our statement. We'll go to the next segment of the press briefing, which is questions. We will have the first round and then the second bite. It's important that on the first and the second bite we cover all questions. No brain waving. I will start from my left. You'll introduce yourself and the media outlets that you're coming from, and then question, and then that's it. That will be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. And then we'll go in that numerical order. Can we start with our number 1?
In your statement, you don't mention the negotiations for the position of the state. We understand that you will continue to such actions to take over the speaker position. Is that still the case, or did the REC take do you understand that you meant the and this was the understanding? Is that still the case now? Are you taking over the position? And still maybe hinging on that first question. We're taking away the minorities' hold on their position. if you take the speaker as well, you're also taking like from another minority party. When previously the agreement was that you're going to give minority parties a bit more power in the side. Would you not be accused of taking it back on these minority parties now?
Thank you very much. My name is Johannesburg. My first question may be very controversial, but from what I understand, that there were internal battles in Johannesburg regarding and I understand Mrs. Masu was one of those names that was raised to succeed Gwamanda. In your statement, you're speaking about that Morero was number one, was number two, after Gwamanda passed away. If such, and why was there a battle that says who becomes the next mayor if already you knew what was happening? And also, the ANC had to even sit, the regime had to even sit after the coup in Boxburg to resolve who should be the mayor. So I just want to know on that to say, if you already have the name, what was the whole point of you guys even have to discuss such things? And from what also I understand is that the other faction feels that the president was looking for Tata to become the next mayor. Is there any divisive in the ANC job where you are trying to hedge each other towards this point? For example, I understand also that they are saying you are part of those who are divisive in the movement. It was the issue that Chacho raised about the speaker. We expect Margaret to resign, and from HNSA, obviously, you would have been given a name already if you are going to put in a mayor. Who is it from HNSA that you are going to put? And are you now done with this thing of saying minority parties should have the speaker and the mayor? Is that arrangement now completely over? Thank you.
Number 3.
My colleagues here have asked my question, but perhaps I can add on to it. Part of the agreement was the removal of the speakers and to add Action SA speakers to Tshwane and Johannesburg. And the third Action SA condition was that the 200 surcharge on the prepaid is also scrapped. So if you don't mind answering that, please.
Number 4.
Lisa Gatandwa from Times Live. I've got a couple of questions. Some I'll just add to the second round. Secretary, you talk about a process that had already started in 2021, where you had 3 names which you submitted, and one of them being the late Mr. Paul Morane. But yet we are now in 2024, Secretary. And the man that you have chosen now wasn't the man that was chosen at that particular time. So which means he wasn't the best candidate for the ANC to put up as a mayor. And yet you do not see a reason to restart this process. And possibly in the past 3 years, you could have possibly had some other people who are much more capable. Why hasn't that process, why didn't you start that process over again? You talk about, and you laid out so broadly, the number of things that have been done by this administration, which the ANC is part of. So if you are doing so well, why change a winning formula? Your reaction to allegations by the Mailing Guardian, which particularly relates to you and the treasurer, and I'll say the only reason I'm bringing up this is because you talked about fighting against corruption. Your reaction to allegations against you and the treasurer, and whether the region or the province has taken those allegations seriously. Has there been a discussion around what is happening and propriety as it relates to you and the treasurer? And perhaps, treasurer, you can also respond to whether you do have family members who are part of entities of Johannesburg. And then my last question is around the resolution that was taken by the REC that its members must be chairs of entities. Can you clarify how that is? Because what we hear is that some of your members or in the REC actually do not have higher qualifications. Thank you.
Thanks. Next.
I've been covered by some of my colleagues, but just to ask, the ANC NEC seems to have taken a decision that some of its NEC members must be deployed to metros. Are we aware of which NEC members have been deployed to Johannesburg? Thank you.
Number 6.
Thank you. May I please ask if the governing coalition is going to be the ANC, Action SA and the IFP to give you 141 seats? What shape are you cutting out the EFF? And then are you going to scrap the 230 Rand basic charge for prepaid? Because only 10,979 of 900,000 eligible people are registered for free basic electricity. It's really killing poor job workers.
Thanks. Number 7.
All right, Molo Umloto from ANC. I just want you to refresh our memories with regard to the reasons why in the first place we have had to go for a mayor coming from a minority party. And what has changed in terms of that approach now, or whether you admit that the two mayors, Amat and Gwamanda, were used as guinea pigs, or whether you had fundamental disagreements with those who were in that agreement. Secondly, as much as you have painted this beautiful picture of achievements you have made, are you confidently saying that you had no failures altogether? Are you able to articulate on issues that you really would have wanted to attain and you couldn't?
Thanks very much. I think I will hand over to the regional secretary together with the officials to respond to the questions. Over to you, regional secretary.
No, thanks very much for the questions. The office bearers are here. They will assist in answering some of the questions. I will just deal with them sequentially as they were asked. Around the negotiations with Action SA. Yes, we are still in conversation with Action SA around what they preferred. They have presented whatever they prefer, and we have done our own consultation processes. In fact, we even met with Action SA this last Sunday, and of course you are correct that we met yesterday as the Regional Executive Committee. We have also met with the minority bloc of parties. As you know, that the Speaker position is currently under the minority bloc of parties. And we then met with them also yesterday. We need to have a follow-up meeting with Action SA based on the meeting that we had yesterday, so that we can arrive to finality in terms of our negotiations. The current government of local unity, as I have indicated, is constituted by parties that constitute around 147 councillors out of 270. But this 147 is down with 2 because of the by-elections at Ward 9 and by-elections at Ward 21. Ward 9 was for Al Jama, Ward 21 for the African National Congress. So in our current form, we've got 145. This, of course, it will include the 9 minority parties and also the Economic Freedom Fighters, the IFP, the Patriotic Alliance, including ourselves. We haven't included the 44 councillors of the Action SA pending the finalization of our discussion with the Action SA. So meaning, as soon as we conclude those discussions with Action SA, we will be a coalition that is constituted by 191 councillors. In fact, the minorities have also reported that UIM also is joining us, which will take us to 192 as soon as we conclude, and we hope that we will conclude that at least before Friday, when by the time we elect the new mayor. So, of course, there are other conditions that the HNSA have put there. The condition of removal of the mayor, that is not a condition that we have acceded to. The mayor, for the mayor to resign, has nothing to do with our discussion with HNSA. Because even to elect a new mayor, as I have outlined the numbers, we can still elect the new mayor with or without HNSA. But ours, it's about our internal discussion to reconfigure the coalition. That's why Councillor Gwamanda resigned as a mayor. It's on the basis of the fact that our own framework, including the statement of intent, which in the GNU Al-Jama is also part of, and they understand that the party with majority must take the lead as the mayor. So there is no Gwamanda who have resigned for any other reason except the reason that it is time for the ANC to take over. And you are correct, Muluku. At that particular time when we elected a minority mayor, it was because there was no consensus between the ANC and the EFF in terms of the mayorship position. You will remember EFF wanted Eku Ruleni to have a mayor of the EFF for them to support the ANC mayorship in Johannesburg. And that led to a compromise in the discussion to say, let's then vote for a mayor that comes from a different party than ourselves as the two parties, given that particular deadlock of not agreeing on that. So that is what informed that particular view that we had a mayorship that was coming from the minority parties. Look, the issue of the mayorship in Joburg, I don't know where was that contest happening. Mail and Guardian like gossips, and I don't know who's feeding them these gossips, because there was never any contest. The DRS have never contested for mayorship. And I don't know why there were reports that she's running for mayorship. Poor DRS had even to update her social media and say, can you please not use my name for things that do not exist? And that is why it was not even a difficult discussion at the regional office bearers, at the regional executive committee. It was an easy discussion, because there was an appreciation from all of us that we are not starting this process from the beginning. We are continuing from where we left. In fact, if there was no court case in 2022, we will still be having a mayor of the ANC who's Councillor Dada Morero since 2022 September until now, if there was no any court case that disrupted that process. So there was no any confusion around that particular issue. Of course, the regional executive committee had to reaffirm its standing on that particular position, and that is the only thing that we have done, to reaffirm. That is why we never discussed. If it was a discussion for mayorship, the guidelines are very clear. We will have had to nominate 3 names if we were starting from the beginning. We will have had to submit those 3 names to the province take them to national, do interviews, and that process that we have already done in 2021. We are on the same administration. We have done it, by the way, in the previous administration. Because those when those guidelines, when they were introduced, when we dealt with the issue of, if you remember, the late Jolie D. Matongo, we had 3 names, and out of those 3 names, the late Muyerani was number 2 after Jolie D. Matongo. And when Jolie D. Matongo passed away, then we immediately confirmed Mpho Muyerani, who was the second candidate out of that process. So when we nominate names for mayorship, let me clarify that issue. We nominate the best of the best that we have in the African National Congress. So The 3 names that we submit are the 3 names that all of them qualify. So that is why as a regional executive committee, we send those names with an appreciation of the fact that any of them can become the mayor. So we can't send people who are low quality, with low quality of leadership, who can inspire confidence to the people of Johannesburg. And I can tell you, the people of Johannesburg, they are happy where they are, because now they know that one of the best in the African National Congress, Councillor Dada Morero, will be taking the leadership of mayorship in Johannesburg. He will be able to inspire confidence in the people of Johannesburg and to ensure accelerated of service delivery. Because we don't select people because of we just need 3 names, Arno Kenya 3 names. Even if Councillor Eunice Mgina was number 2, she will be the executive mayor, she will be our candidate today. For the city of Johannesburg, because we believe also in her leadership. That is why she was part of the 3 names. So there must not be a question about that. Remember, this is 3 names out of about 90 councillors. It's not just 3 names out of 5 of us here. No, it's 3 names out of 90. So surely you will select the best of the best out of the 90 that you have. Of course, you will not have the name of the Speaker of the Action SA because the discussions are still ongoing. Until we finalize those discussions, we should be able to deal with that. Look, if you read the article of Mail and Guardian, of course, probably I should have said if you read the gossip of the Mail and Guardian, the gossip section of the Mail and Guardian, you will appreciate that they are talking about meetings that took place in the ANC on the 2nd of July, in fact, to be precise. They said there was a meeting on the 2nd of July. There was never any meeting, whether ROB, whether RWC, whether REC. There was never such a meeting of the ANC. And they then speak about the discussions in that particular meeting, investigations and all those sort of things. In fact, I think let me spare you time and not spend more time responding to gossip from Mail and Guardian. And you know, what was interesting was the fact that when, you know, I engaged that fellow, that fellow called Kaya. Chief, let's meet, let's have a conversation on these allegations that you are saying that they are there, so that we give you facts. And it's because I already seen that the poor guy has been misled. Unfortunately, he was not, he agreed, in fact, on the day when we had the council that approved the 2.5 billion loan, that we will meet there in council, and he never came. And then we left him, we said, you know what, probably it serves his interest to publish propaganda, you know, and mislead the public. So that is why we just left it there. But I wish he availed himself, especially when we avail ourselves. You know, in most cases you will be worried about the fact that people are running away, they don't want to engage you, and all that. We availed ourselves. Chief, let's meet. This thing of WhatsApp exchange will not assist, so that we give you facts. I was going to even show him the minutes of the meetings in terms of the section of issues that he might think that there were issues of interest. I couldn't have sent that because those are confidential documents of the organization. But I was going to show him on the screen, read here, Chief, and check if those things that you are talking about exist. Because that is the only thing that you can confirm of a meeting. So even all those regional executive committee members that is speaking about, none of them can take ownership of saying that they have ever even spoken to that particular fellow. Because we asked them, comrades, what's happening? Is there any one of you who have provided this information? You know, assist us so that we deal with these media inquiries. And there's no one who takes ownership of such. So the possibility that there was not even any person that have provided that information. It also exists because, unfortunately, he will use your ethics and all those things that I can't reveal my sources. But Shem Kaya, the sources you have, they are very unreliable. I don't think you must talk to them again because the integrity of Mail and Guardian will be compromised on the basis of those kind of sources that you have. So let me leave it there, and of course indicate that on the issue of the 200 rand surcharge, we received the same concerns from residents about the 200, to say that this is too much and all that, which is for prepaid users, and that is why we made a determination that we should review this. We are not going to scrap it. We are going to review it. We have given our deployees that mandate to look at, because remember the 200 was part of the budget that we have passed in council. So, which means part of what we will be utilizing to fund the budget. So when you reduce or review, you must be able to say, if we reduce from 200 to 100 or 50 rand or 10 rand or whatever amount, where do we then get money to fund the portion that was meant to be funded by the 200? And that is the work that they are working on, so that when we do budget adjustment, because by law, you can't change budget as in when you wish. You must change it during the budget adjustment period. And that is how this 200 issue is going to be handled. During the budget adjustment period, that is when we are going to look at that particular matter. That's the same explanation that we have provided to Action SA, that yes, we have the same problem. You don't have to worry and think you are the only ones. But as a responsible party in government, we can't go to the public and become populist and say we are going to scrap it, because I don't think that will be the correct way to do it. We are going to review it. If the reviewal process favors us to an extent that we don't need it at all, it will be as such. But if the reviewal process says no, you can reduce at least 60 rand, 100 rand to 150 and all that, we will do so in the interest, because most of the people that are affected is the middle strata and the poor of the poorest who are using prepaid. But also we must remind you, those that are not using prepaid have long been paying for that 200 surcharge. It was only the prepaid element that was not charged. So all of you that are not using prepaid, you have long been paying this amount. In fact, Johannesburg was one of the municipalities that is not charging the surcharge. You go to Ekurhuleni is there, you go to Tshwane is there, you go to City of Cape Town is there, and in fact, we are the lowest with the 200. That is why NESA was able to can approve for City Power to can impose such 200. So I'm just saying that we need to have that understanding that probably the issue is it might be too much to the residents on the basis that is the first time we implement, and is implemented as it is for the first time. Probably the gradual introduction of it might have assisted and all that. And that is why we are agreeing and persuaded that there is definitely a need to review it. Of course, minority parties, we engage them time and again, every step that we take. So we will not arrive to a deal that disadvantages them, because they have been with us even when we were in the opposition benches. They were not opportunistic and say, no, we have been invited to be part of the multi-party coalition with the DA, let's go and join them. They did not do that. They remained with us until we reclaimed the city of Johannesburg. That is why they will never be worse off. And when we discuss with the minority parties, we don't even care about the numbers, because these are the people who are very reliable in assisting us, to take away the mess that the DA coalition was subjecting the people of Johannesburg to. Of course, Muluku, we highlighted the achievements, and in our statement we also acknowledge the fact that there is still a lot to be done, Muluku. You can go to the inner city you will see that we still have a lot to do in terms of enforcing the bylaws, because the city becomes clean in the evening and in the morning, but the minute the street vendors are on the streets, some are not even in the designated areas, by 11-12 the city is back to an unclean city, and that requires enforcement of bylaws, so that at least our city can remain clean. We still have got pockets of areas that needs to be attended to, and that is why we are saying that our mandate is very clear to the new executive mayor candidate who will be elected this week, to ensure that immediately we implement the accelerated service delivery program that must be able to deliver services in an accelerated manner, so that we can be able to deal with number of things. But I think there are some of the questions that I might not have answered, and the ROBs can assist on any of those questions that might not have been answered. Anyone?
The direct one for family member. I think maybe to respond to the direct one that is asked.
You can come closer here.
Yes, of course, I've got a family member. I must just declare. My wife works for the city. She joined the city before I met her, so she does work for the city. However, with the gossip from Mail and Guardian, those that were part of the media briefing at Pick It Up during the time of the strike, the city manager committed in that meeting that you'll be inviting you back to come and clarify issues. The role of the chair of the board is to deal with the executive and oversight, and of course the issue of employment of general workers, that is a commitment, that is the responsibility of the official in the city. I think that the city manager will clarify that when he calls you for media briefing. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So in simple terms, I think you are aware that there is an investigation by the city on the issue of the appointment of the 300 based on the allegations which were raised. And of course, the city will be able to advise ourselves and the public on what are the outcomes of those investigations. So I think we should allow that process of investigation to take place, and so that we get facts, and we will act based on the facts. So far we can't act on the basis of what Mail and Guardian was saying, because the basis of what Mail and Guardian was saying, it was not even correct, and as a result, I don't think we must take whatever they were saying serious. But at least there is a process that we believe that process will assist us to know the truth. As soon as we know the truth, it's very simple. We should be able to ensure that consequence management happens where there is wrongdoing that has been identified. If there is any one of us as the leadership of the ANC who are involved, it's very simple. The ANC have got clear processes of how do we deal with those kind of issues, and we will follow what the ANC requires us to do to ensure that the ANC renew itself and it remains an organization with integrity that is led by leaders who uphold the high moral standard in society. Thanks.
I think, good afternoon. On the question on are we going to work with the IFP Action SA as the ANC only, we will continue to work with the minority parties. I think as articulated by the RS, they've been with us. Our relationship with them is going to continue, including our relationship with the EFF. We're also going to continue to work with the EFF. And then on the issue of did we use the two mayors as guinea pig, are we snatching their positions? The minorities and all parties have always had an understanding that the position of mayorship belongs to the African National Congress. So that is why in the statement it is very clear when the RS reads it that the executive mayor has agreed to post the discussions because of also our framework that has led us to this particular juncture. So there are no guinea pigs. We're not snatching any position away from anybody. We are taking our rightful place as the leader of society to provide services to the people of Johannesburg.
There's a last one, and I think Million Guardian, they are saying the president was looking for our regional chair. I think, let me just clarify that one. The president of the ANC does not deal with any negotiations, for that matter, including of the GM. Look, I think Million Guardian is having a problem of relying on fake news. It's a victim of fake news, including this one of the president. I saw it it was flying around social media, and when we then verified the facts and we realized that it was from unreliable and a very compromised page on social media, meaning we cannot verify the source where that comes from. And the president of the ANC was really looking for such an issue. Look, we can confirm here as the ANC that the president of the ANC had nothing to do with the lobbying of any position for that particular person. In fact, he will be reducing himself. Can we respect the president of the ANC, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, on that particular front? We will go and take the second round on the matter, and I see Million Guardian
is impatient.
My hand is itching. We will start from the right and on our left. The second round, and this is the last round. It will be one.
Sorry, just on the NEC members that have been deployed to Joburg, if that has already been done.
Okay. Aras, do you want to take that?
Yeah. Look, we already have NEC members that are deployed in Gauteng, who are led by Comrade Pemi Majodini, who is the leader of the deployees of the NEC. Of course, there is that resolution which, of course, we will be advised if it means in addition of those members that are already deployed. But we do have NEC deployees who are always there to attend our PEC meetings and activities. They were part of our campaign in the provincial and national elections. And there were even some additional members who were deployed, including Comrade Dakota, to assist us on elections. But in terms of this NEC resolution, the SG will advise us whether there will be additional NEC members that will come to assist us when necessary. And of course, that resolution is highly welcomed because Metros remains very critical, especially Johannesburg, which you will need any support possible to make sure that we better the lives of the people of Johannesburg. So we will be able to welcome those NEC members to assist us. Thanks very much.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyone? Whoever wants your peace. And 5. Can we start what?
These are times our game times live. I'm sure I'll be branded a gossiper with this, but you didn't respond to my earlier question, Secretary, which is around REC resolution that its members should be chairs of entities in Johannesburg. I just wanted to get clarity on that. You've spoken about the other minority parties, yes. You've spoken about other minority partners, but has there been any sort of communication with the DA, given that they are your partners nationally? And we know that the talks collapsed in the province, but has there been any communication there? And just for clarity, when is your regional conference?
Number 2. Number 2 is.
Thank you. For a follow-on, Liz. So if the desired coalition size is 192, I'm wondering who's excluded besides the DA. I'm just trying to do the math.
Okay.
Thank you.
3.
Thank you very much. My name is Calvin Khudla. I'm from SABC TV News. I just have two questions. The first question is, was there any agreement with Al-Jamaah for Kabelo Gwamanda to be a caretaker mayor? And number two, I hear that you are saying that you are bringing Dr. Morero forward, you are tipping him to become a mayor. The city is facing challenges, including crumbling infrastructure, revenue collection problems, as well as service delivery challenges. Do you think that Morero is the one who can be able to resolve all these challenges? Thank you.
In that order, number 4.
Yeah, so do you mind just clarifying your position with action? It seems now that you're saying that there might not be an agreement.
Thank you very much. I hear there's a lot of questions that are doing. You have not answered anything that I asked. You are referring to things that I didn't ask. I said, Ms. Masoud and the National Secretary, yourself, you've been accused of being divisive in the region. Didn't answer. You're speaking about how we brought homes to not on them, I'm talking about you. Say, you've been accused of being divisive in the region. And I said, there were some in the RDC who did not agree with Gaga being the mayor. And I said, in those, if you are saying there was a meeting that you resolved at number 1, number 2 should be number 1, because the first one died. I said, why was there even a discussion in the RDC to say, okay, let us maybe consider another candidate? That's what I said. And about the president, I never said the president, that the RDC was saying the president is good. I didn't say that. I said the president himself, before he's accused of lobbying for party, but he thinks he's the better candidate. And I asked, do you feel, I didn't say he was, I said, do you feel that the president, on what he was saying on that statement that he made, that he was lobbying for you? That's what I was asking. And what we've got here, we're talking about two separate issues. I didn't ask about the story of picking it up or what was happening about someone's wife. I didn't ask those things. It was nothing to do with my question. The question that I brought, you never answered. So before today I ran, when you accused me of, or accused, I don't know who wrote the story, when you accused us of that, please take consideration that we ask you these things and you are here, you don't answer them. Tomorrow someone tells us, you cannot write it because when you ask, you don't answer. So that's basically what I wanted to do. But those three questions that I asked, you never answered. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nasir. I think most of the questions will follow up.
Yeah.
And I think it just took us through. And then obviously, even those questions that we missed from the first round, has been clarified so that we can close this press.
Yeah, look, let me start there. The unfortunate part is that the Mail and Guardian questions were asked by Times Live, not yourself.
Exactly.
And they were responding to her, not you. But unfortunately, you are from Mail and Guardian, so you know. Okay. You see, you are still doing the same thing. To say there are rumors that myself and the DRS are divisive. Where does those rumors come from? What is the source? When you say people are divisive, what is it that they are doing that demonstrates that they are divisive? And I don't know how you expect me to answer that particular question, because the conference of the ANC in 2022 June have elected us. One of the primary responsibility that was given to us was to unite the African National Congress in the greater Johannesburg region. Because a divided ANC leads to divided society. So, if I am to be involved in anything that is divisive as the regional secretary, I think I will be acting against what those who believed in my leadership and the collective elected us against, which is to divide the ANC. So that's how I can answer that question, because there is no source, there is no basis. It's still informed by the gossips. Some REC members were not agreeing on Dada Morero being the mayor, but who are those? Because we were in an REC meeting yesterday. There is no single REC member who have ever raised that particular issue in that particular meeting last night to say we are not agreeing on the regional chair becoming an executive mayor. No one, even just one. So, of course, if there is anyone who said that to you, you must tell them that, hey, Chief, you are a coward. You come and tell us that you don't agree to this thing, but you go to the meeting, you don't express your issues. Unfortunately, we can't entertain gossips that did not even find themselves in the meeting of the ANC. We can respond about what happened in the meeting, but this one is not part of those issues that have transpired. Of course, the regional spokesperson have spoken to the issue of the president. Remember, the sequence, let's follow the sequence. The president is part of the, national officials of the ANC. So when the decision was taken for Comrade Dada Morero as number 2 to become our mayoral candidate, it was taken when the president was still the president of the ANC, serving his first term in the last NEC before 2022 December. So he's aware about our candidate. So if he was to speak about Joburg and it happens he mentions Dada Morero, it's not out of lobbying. It's out of appreciating the fact that there was a process and that process confirmed him and hence he was elected. There is no way we can bravely and boldly sit here and say Dada Morero is our candidate without the NEC approval, because our guidelines are very clear, in terms of how this process must be managed. We met last night, we are announcing this morning, this afternoon. It's because we didn't have to go back to the province, we didn't have to go back to the NEC to report the same issue that they have long time ago in 2022 given us a go-ahead on. So the president is aware of that. So I understand the context of your question. Probably you might have heard him mentioning him. Firstly, is the regional chair. When you talk about Johannesburg, a president of the ANC cannot talk about Johannesburg without relating to leaders of Johannesburg. So the regional chair, apart from being a mayoral candidate, he is the regional chair, the political head of the ANC in Johannesburg. And the reference will time and again be made on him because we are all led by him as the regional executive committee. So the issue of the board, firstly let me clarify that in Johannesburg we have no REC resolution that says REC members must be board chairs. We don't have that resolution. What we have is that the city have issued an invite to individuals who have got specific skills and experience to apply to serve as the non-executive directors of the independent non-executive directors of the city's entities. And different people applied. I also applied, by the way. Unfortunately, I didn't make it, but I did apply. And there are those who made it in that particular process. So there was never any resolution of the ANC that had to influence that process in terms of who must be what. It's only the members of the mayoral committee that will decide who must chair the board. We, as the ANC, we hold them accountable. We don't hold those who are in the boards. They appoint the boards. We appoint them through the executive mayor. The executive mayor, when appoints the mayoral committee, consult us and we say, we agree majority. But we hold them accountable. This time, because you see, the executive mayor was coming from another party. So we will hold the executive mayor through the Government of Local Unity Political Management Council, which includes all the parties. When you have a mayor of the ANC the mayor of the ANC then accounts to us on behalf of everyone that he has appointed, including accounting to the GLU Political Management Council. So in terms of who they must appoint in the seat, they must appoint people that are capable, who will enable them to deliver the services, because our mandate is clear. We want the Joburg to go to its former glory of the world-class African city. We want that status of Johannesburg to be restored, the status which the former Mayor Parkstau left it with when we were disrupted by 2016 local government election. And that is the mandate to the executive mayor. So on whom he appoints, he must make sure that he appoints people who have got what it takes to assist him and his collective for us to achieve that. I think I will allow colleagues to answer some of the questions because we are a collective ourselves.
On the follow-up, so you'd know our council is constituted of 270 councillors in total. So at the moment, on over and above the DA, which would have 71 councillors, we don't have any agreement with Freedom Front Plus, which has got 4 councillors. We don't have any agreement at the moment with ACDP, which has got 3 councillors. We are engaging UIM, and once that has been concluded, then they will form part of the minority. But that would then give you, for now, that 191 that you were asking where it comes from. And then there's the other follow-up on our position with Action SA. I think the RS did clarify that, remember, we were very clear as the ANC that we will review the issue of the 200 Rand short charge. And when we say we will review, we are cognizant of the fact that it can't be something that can just be taken to council and reversed. It requires a process. And we would expect that, in particular, Mr. Herman Mashaba, who is a former mayor, would know that there are actually council processes which require that. And remember, our budget was, National Treasury said our budget was funded and it was credible, and there were budget assumptions that were made. Now, we can't just come up and create a problem for ourselves that we are not going to be able to resolve. And remember, our IDP also had strategic objectives, and the budget itself must align with that, and including the NDP, including the provincial strategic plan and our growth and development strategy. So we can't just wake up and take a decision that will actually will be shooting ourselves in the foot. That is why we are saying we are continuing with the engagements so that we are clear that we can do something at a particular time, so that we also don't give false promises to people that we negotiate with, because we are negotiating in good faith. Yeah, I think that's it.
Regional conference.
When is the regional? It's in
Okay, the regional conference, in fact, let me say this. Our term of office ends in June 2025, which means June 2025, we are expected to go for regional conference. So I'm responding in that particular manner because in we are led by NEC. NEC can decide otherwise, depending on whatever circumstances that they might be dealing with. We did engage the DA, by the way, and unfortunately, the local leadership of the DA, they told us that in the DA, coalition discussions are centered around one person called Helen Zille. So we don't have any relationship with Helen Zille. We can't engage Helen Zille. We can engage her local leadership. If a local leadership has no mandate, then it means we can't have coalition discussions with the DA. Unless they have any discussions with our national leadership, and our national leadership will advise us. But we did approach the DA ourselves. Freedom Front Plus, they approached us, in fact, that they will want to have conversation with us in terms of probably joining us. And they then postponed that meeting based on whatever instruction they got from their national leadership. And they advised that they will indicate to us as in when they are ready for those kind of engagements. Of course, we are open to engage with them as soon as they are ready. The same as ACDP, we did engage. In fact, that was even handled by the provincial leadership, engaging their provincial leadership, the Bishop Adams, of course. They also don't necessarily have a mandate to can conclude the discussions with us. They are reliant on their national leadership. So we have complied with what we are mandated to do by the NEC. The NEC is very clear that we must engage everyone in the interest of the residents of Johannesburg, and that is how far we have gone. And we are also confident that even with Action SA, we will be able to arrive to a finality in terms of the engagements that have been taking place between ourselves and them. And with them, the good thing is that they approached us to say, let's have a conversation, guys. There are other even municipalities outside Johannesburg, which that conversation handled by the province is also looking at those kind of issues. Thanks.
No, just the last one. Is Dada Morero equal to the task? Of course, he is equal to the task. He's tried and tested. One would say he will be working with the collective, because the reality is that we need to reverse the infrastructure collapse and also the sustainability in terms of the revenue generation. Hence, we are saying he's equal to the task. One would say he will be working within the collective. We trust in that, because in the process of speaking, is that Joburgers will then be able to have a better mayor, so that we take Joburg forward as the collective.
Calvin's question. Do you have any agreement with Al-Jama?
Oh, okay. Oh, you mean for the mayor to resign? We have engaged Al-Jama, of course. We have engaged Al-Jama. In fact, we had two different meetings also with the mayor. Our first meeting with Al-Jama was about 2 to 3 weeks ago, if not 4 weeks, where we met with the president of Al-Jama and their provincial leader with an intention to communicate to them that we are in the process of reconfiguring the coalition, and the intention, the end goal, is to make sure that the African National Congress will take charge of the mayorship. Of course, we had to engage them because we have engaged them when we requested them to hold the fort when we could not agree with the EFF. Even as of last night, we had a meeting with the president of Al-Jama, including the mayor himself. We were in that particular meeting, and I can tell you there are no issues with Al-Jama. Of course, they are irritated by these NGOs, you outers of this world, and the noise that they get from the Action SA. They are definitely irritated by those side issues. But we were very clear with them that, look, we are not taking this decision on the basis of such. It's on the basis of the process that we have been engaged on. Of course, we respect people's right to raise whatever they are raising, but that should not necessarily be a representation of what informs the decision that we are taking. So basically, I thought, let me just clarify that particular issue. They were engaged, the mayor resigned because of the mayor has support also from his party. So thanks very much.
Colleagues, thanks very much. We came to the end of our press briefing. When you get a short notice like we did today, you have behaved yourself. We will then, those that want one-on-ones, giving an update as to how far are we and what will happen in the next few days. As introduced, I'm the spokesperson of the ANC. I will take from my left to the right to introduce ourselves. And also there's a register or a roll call that is doing rounds. Can you please all of us sign the roll call for this press? I will use the advantage that I know you. Sipo, introduce yourself, and then we'll speak here. So 10 minutes, 3 minutes. Yeah, let's continue. From that, we have the regional secretary, Comrade Sasawona Manganyi, and then next to me we have the deputy chair, Comrade Simon Mott. We have an apology from the regional chair of the region, Comrade Tata Morero. Is committed with other government responsibilities. We will be able to update you on the current developments that are happening in the city of Johannesburg. We've been inundated with obviously your calls. Myself and the regional secretary have been doing media interviews for the past 2 weeks and trying to update the residents of Johannesburg, including the people of South Africa, as to where are we with regards to the reconfiguration of the city of Johannesburg. We have arrived where we have concluded our engagements in the ANC in Greater Johannesburg.
Good afternoon to the residents of Johannesburg. The ANC in the Greater Johannesburg region welcomes the announcement by the Executive Mayor of the city of Johannesburg, Councillor Kabelo Gwamanda, that he has resigned in the position of the mayorship with effective from the day in which the speaker will convene council that will elect the new mayor. Of course, the mayor's decision to resign is a culmination of robust engagements within our own structures as the African National Congress, but also within the parties that are representing what we call a government of local unity. The government of local unity in its current form is constituted by 13 parties, which include the minority bloc of parties that are 9, including the Economic Freedom Fighters, including Patriotic Alliance. Recently, we have also been joined by the Inkatha Freedom Party. This was done in line with the guiding principles developed by the ANC's NEC task team that deals with coalitions, which of course that particular task team have developed a framework for local government that suggests that the party with majority should be able to lead the coalition at the local government, and this was done, was adopted in 2023. So that is why those engagements have taken place over time until now. Furthermore, the engagements were predicted on the understanding that, of course, the ANC lead the GLU and must therefore take a responsibility for the strategic direction that the city, which is driven from the executive mayor, the strategic direction that the city must take. It should be able to be, led by the African National Congress as the leader of the coalition in Johannesburg, and it makes sense that the executive mayor comes from the ANC. So it was also agreed that amongst the parties constituting the GLU, the ANC by far the biggest representation in council and is the most experienced party in leading local government. Councillor Gwamanda's decision to resign must therefore be understood in this context of the ANC's commitment to reconstitute the government of local unity in a manner that is not only giving effect to the will of the people, but also ensures the stability of the city and the accelerated service delivery. It is also in this context that through protracted negotiations, as I've indicated. We also, have the IFP that has joined the GLU, which is a way of saying that let's strengthen ourselves, let's get all the parties possible that want to be part of the GLU. And of course, this is also informed by the statement of intent that the ANC have developed in inviting other parties after the provincial and national elections, which invited all parties to form part of the government of national unity. And we therefore took an advantage of that process also to ensure that we strengthen our coalition at a local level. The ANC expects a special council meeting to be held before the end of this week, which will elect a new mayor from its ranks. This must be done without delay to ensure that there is no vacuum or even confusion at the level of the political leadership of the city. We are determined to do everything in our power to ensure a smooth transition and avoid any form of disruption to the normal functioning of the city, and also to service delivery to the people of Johannesburg. We of course want to commend Councillor Gwamanda for the graceful manner in which he has acceded to its request to step down and allow the African National Congress to take over the reins as per the wishes of the broadest sections of society within and beyond the boundaries of Johannesburg. We further express our gratitude to Councillor Gwamanda for serving the resident of Johannesburg to the best of his ability when the opportunity was availed to himself. And I think all of you will appreciate in terms of the background in which informed for us to have a minority mayor which was elected since last year, January, which initially it was Kabelo Ahmad, followed by Kabelo Gwamanda. When we took office, we committed ourselves, to uphold the highest standards of governance and accountability. We can say that we have delivered on that promise. In the 2022-2023 financial year, Johannesburg secured an unqualified audit opinion. This was this was not something that we should take for granted. It demonstrated our unwavering commitment to transparency and effective governance. As we await